Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Sheets, and we're going to be going over the early slate in the MLB, which starts in an hour. And then we're probably going to do a golf preview, which may prove to be sort of moot if the whole tournament gets canceled. I haven't even run anything yet, so maybe Bobby will have some insights before I even run any projections. We'll see. For those of you that were following this yesterday, I don't do this too often, but I did a full YouTube video of my entire process from, an hour before lock or like a half hour before lock all the way through the end, where I went through all of my late swapping and things like that. And I feel as though it was extremely educational. It's not too much fun, I guess, to go watch a video that's not going to help you directly, because once I posted it, the slate was over. But I really couldn't post anything with live lineups. But it showed how I use the sims and the projections to build my lineups at 645. And then at every single potential late swap opportunity, I went through exactly how I did everything. And whether it was coincidence or whatever it is, we ended up with some really, really good results yesterday. We won the home run for 5,000, and not only that, but we beat the second place guy by 50 points, which probably means I didn't put the right lineup in. I mean, if you want to know the truth, I mean, it was a single entry tournament, and I played a lineup that literally won the tournament by 50 points. Oh, that's probably not 100%. Hey, there's Bobby.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. I was just kind of like telling everybody about the video I put up yesterday, which I do recommend people kind of watch. It was a full hour video where I did my builds at 645. I went through all of that. And then at every single late swap opportunity, I recorded that also. And I did all my late swaps as well. And then awesome. I saved it all after the last late swap at 10 o'clock. So and it combined, it was like an hour video, but it really showed the full process from beginning all the way to the end. And it also showed, by the way, how hard it is to really commit to this. Because I was exhausted, honestly.
Yeah.
Because as you know, as everybody here knows, I mean, I listen, do as I say, not as I do. I mean, I don't play optimally baseball, because to play optimally, you have to be in front of your computer all night long and continue until late swap. And I don't do it too often. And whether it's a coincidence or not, I did commit to doing that yesterday, and ended up with some really, really good results. I was going over them. The one that I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, but in the home run tournament, I won by 50 points.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Hey, listen, I'm only putting one entry, man. It's If you Weisenheimers that are used to putting 150 entry, want to go 1 versus 1? I don't know. I'll put it up against you guys, I guess. And it almost makes me feel like I played the wrong lineup if I'm going to win it by 50. Right? And then I cashed pretty much in a couple of immaculate innings, a couple of all kinds of things in DraftKings, and then in FanDuel ended up getting second in the Monster. We held on at the end, but we really were kind of safe. The big score there. I mean, I had Adames and all those Brewers as a 4-man. Yeah. And then I also had a 4-man with the Astros that was doing literally nothing, like 6 points here, 3 points here, and then the last at bat in like the top of the ninth, like Alvarez hit a home run that put me right up in there.
Nice.
To put me in the fourth, and I needed like a I don't even say a ceiling, but like a good Castillo performance to get first. Yeah. But he was just just whatever, But it was good enough to put me into second, and then I held on, which was listen. So yeah, the results were great. I'm certainly not going to complain about that, but I really do encourage anybody that wants to play baseball to use Saber Sim and do whatever to look through my process. And one thing that you'll note, by the way, is that at no point until like 2 hours after the slate locked or 2 hours after the first game locked did I even look to see who I had.
Right.
literally didn't look at who I had until once I started laying some. Ooh, I have the Adamas, and then I kind of realized what was going on. But I hope people get something from it. And
that's awesome, man. Congrats. That's just, I can't believe it. It's crazy how you do it, but I think that's great. I'm going to check out the video myself too, because it's a big edge I felt like I had for a long time, was that I really did go through all of the late swapping. And especially when I was like, max entering, multi-entering, a bunch of lineups. When you're just playing couple, I could still do it by hand, just from being out at the movies or whatever. But it's pretty awesome. I look forward to checking it out.
And part of it also, I hope they pick up on this. So reason I did all this is SaberSim does this office hours thing where they were doing actually they do like stuff that we consider doing, like reviews of people's builds to see how they played and stuff like that. Yeah. And I actually have some trouble with like a lot of things with SaberSim, like about how to use it right. So I offered to these guys yesterday, I said, listen, if you guys want to do mine, I got no problem with it. As a matter of fact, I mean, I'll go on with you if you want me to and go through it. And then that kind of, how my brain works, that led to the next part of my conversation to myself is, why don't I do a whole video of the whole thing? You know what I mean? And send it over to them. So I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but they certainly should. And so I'm going to go over some of the things I did wrong as far as the late swap stuff goes. And it's not so much like what I did wrong from a execution perspective, but literally like how to deal with the settings and how to do whatever, and hopefully they can help me a little bit with that so I could pass that on to everybody else. So anyway, for today, we have like 2 distinct baseball slates. We'll go over the first one now, and then I might have to like scramble to keep up with you in golf because I literally haven't even looked at it yet. I didn't think they're going to play. And they still might not, but I'll get something up so we can do the golf, and then I can do the main slate if you want after that a little bit, and then I have a software thing at 3. But
cool. I've got a few things. I've got a lot of stuff. I'll get to it another time with you. My whole plans have kind of been blown up. So I'm not going to be playing it all today, but I am happy to go through the slates. I'm ready to do it. But like I said, I really like the point you're making. And again, I just want to reemphasize encouraging people to really check out those kind of videos. We talk a lot of the time about, you talk about it especially, but we always want to try and make everybody better at what they do. We don't just want to go through and, okay, what's the best play today? That's just not the way that this thing works. And while that's, sure, we do that too. And that's a part of something. It's really important to focus on process and really give yourself the best chance you can to win. And that what you're explaining is exactly that. So
I went through the whole thing without knowing who I had the whole night. I mean, and that's not true exactly, because when I did the late swap after like 2 hours, I had to like see who was whatever, and then when I was going through my lobbies, oh boy, check this out, I have an okay lineup here, and I called my shot, and then dude, that home run tournament where I won by 50, that was like over like instantly.
What was that tournament? I don't even know I didn't recognize it.
Yeah, it was like a 400 like single entry, like 70 people entered. And it was like 5,000. I never even saw it before in my life either, but I figured I would fire a couple of things. I was going to do all this stuff, and I just, I used the single entry high stakes setting, and it gave me the 5-man Brewers stack with the Damas and all these guys, and I had a double. I had my genius pitching combination, which you didn't even need him, Castillo, and then the guy from Detroit, who was great. But I didn't even need
Montero was great.
Both of them could have gotten zeros, and I would have won that tournament, honestly.
Well, they could have done what Grayson Rodriguez did to me, because he was in all of my best lineups last night, and he got scratched 2 minutes before lock.
The Rodriguez Pablo Lopez pairing was not optimal.
No, it wasn't. And
I ended up with something. Was that something you could have got away from? Because I didn't. I ended up with like 15%.
It was about, I think it was 2 or 3 minutes before the game locked. So you wouldn't have been able to mass swap anything. Okay. I don't think. It would have been really tricky. And I didn't see, because I walked away from my computer for a few minutes before we had our company call. And I come back, and literally the game has been locked for 1 minute. And I mean, he was 11% owned. You know what I mean? It wasn't like other people were making
I think that's what I had of him, actually.
Yeah. I ended up with 20 of them. So it was a little frustrating that, you never feel like you have a chance to win when the first thing that happens is you have a guy, your pitcher's, one of your differentiating pitchers is out for the night. Yes, anyway,
something like that.
But no, great night, man. Great to see it. I was thrilled for you, and then just keep up the awesomeness. So you want to go through this thing?
Yeah. All right. So let's start with first of all, Yankee game should be all right because it doesn't start till 4. It's like raining now, but from what I hear, it's not from the Sheets wife's forecast. It's going to be good because actually my son is actually going to that game. He's going to the later game. He had tickets for this
really?
tonight. He had tickets for tonight like the whole time, and now he could have gone to both because it was weird the way I don't know how they do that. So yesterday's game rained out, and so if you had yesterday's tickets, like you have to go for another day. They made a doubleheader today that only people that had tickets for today could access.
Really?
So, yeah, very odd.
That is really odd.
Yeah.
I don't really understand that, but that's
so Matt can't make it for the early one, but he'll be going to the later one.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome though.
All right. So we got five games. And congratulations, by the way, to the Chicago White Sox.
Oh yeah, they're off. They did it.
Off the schneid. I was wondering if they were going to like celebrate or anything like that. I guess that would be not too kind of classless, I guess. So,
I mean, yeah, I don't know whether it's like the right or the wrong message to send. I think it's probably the wrong one, but I'm not sure.
But apparently I was right about the attendance, and they were talking about the announcers, and there were a whole bunch of people from Chicago game to kind of follow them until they got their first win, I think, or something like that. I think they packed it in. I think it was like 6,000 yesterday.
They got all 6,000 crammed in there.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So you're not playing, so you're going to give a good kind of like honest, take about this stuff. So I like it actually.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this first one, Arizona and Cleveland?
So wait, hold on. I'm on. You know what? I just jumped over to the night slate. My fault. Let me get the morning slate here. Sorry about that. So Arizona, Cleveland. I have basically no interest in either pitcher. I don't think there's any way I'd get to even in 150. I don't think I really want to get that high on it. I think you're going to have some pretty decent ownership here. But again, I like I think that both sides of it make some sense. And if I had to pick one, I would lean more towards Arizona. And especially you have Josh Bell, who's in there at 3,600, who's going to look like almost maybe even a cash game play. Carroll and Marte are expensive, but it's pretty easy to get to them on this slate. So I like Cleveland. I always will say on these tiny slates, you don't need to full max stack it, whatever. But as you say with your process, just maybe trust what Saberson gives you after going through your all your things.
Okay, so here's a good example. So yesterday, I actually had to force out like a lot of 4-2s, 3-2-2s, 3-3-3s, whatever. But and Saberson wanted me to play them, but my own opinion is in those big slates, I don't want to. But
right.
Like for example, like on a slate like this, if Saberson does give me like a bunch of those, I'll just leave them.
Right.
And that's the way I deal with it. Like I don't like automatically knock out the 5-man stacks, but what I will do is if they don't give me kind of a non-traditional stacks, I won't argue with them. That's the way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The pitchers in this game for me, I'm not getting any of it. If any, I don't even know. I literally don't even know who's pitching as I'm looking at this. I mean, I'm getting like how many pitchers am I even playing here? I have like 5 pitchers in my whole pool out of 5 games, so I don't know. But as far as the hitting goes, yeah, I like Arizona a little bit. The 2 chalky teams look like they're going to be like the Yankees and the Astros, I suppose. So Arizona might be a little lower on, so that's okay. So yeah, I'm kind of with you. I like a little Arizona and really not much of the pitchers for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to remind everybody that there's different ways to win with the stacking. It's like not like your team always needs to go nuts. Like for example, the winner of the last night, the 111 was Squirrel Patrol. It was a 5-man White Sox stack, and they scored 5 runs and literally had and as a team had 1 home run. But he happened to have his 2-man he was a 5-2-1, and his 2-man was Contreras and Adames. So
there you go.
There's 100 points right there, basically.
There you have it.
Anyway, so all right, we can move on to the next one. Let's see, Chicago and Minnesota.
Well, and here we go again. I mean, and it's back to Joe Ryan. Does he pitch every freaking day? I mean, I don't understand. Every day he looks like the best player, and every day I play him, and every day I lose when I play him. I don't understand. But I have him tied with, well, we'll get there later. I guess we'll keep the suspense going with someone else for like the top spot. and so does the rest of the field. I mean, like, he's going to be 50% owned. I imagine that the wind is probably blowing in a little bit.
Yeah, 13 miles an hour wind blowing straight in from center.
It didn't help Lopez too much yesterday.
No, but I'll tell you who it did help was the guy on the other side was Imanaga.
It did. It definitely did. That is true. But Imanaga is really not much of a strikeout guy, is he? Like, it will help him a little bit more. Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah, he can fire it up there. He goes back and forth, but he had a lot of strikeouts last night.
Okay. So I do like Joe Ryan is one of my top options. And I guess if you're gonna play the win game, I mean, I guess you gotta go with Assad too, right? So kind of like him also. And I haven't played. I shouldn't say I haven't played hitters in his win games ever, because sometimes what happens, Saberson will give me like 75% of some team like into the wind. And then that's why we have these little sessions, is so that you can remind me not to do that. So every once in a while I will kind of like play a little bit of it, but on this particular day I don't think I'm getting much of any. So just the pitchers for me here.
Same. I have Ryan as the top pitcher on the slate. I have Assad as someone I would definitely consider using, and I am not going to get to the hitting. I understand you might have some outlier games where guys occasionally, hit a home run or whatever. You're just limiting your upside. I understand that there's not that many games to choose from, but I personally don't think I'd be getting to this one at all.
All right. Houston, Texas. I don't even know who's pitching for Texas.
So Texas, I think it's going to be Urena in long relief, but I can't really tell.
Oh God,
that's what I've got.
Yeah, that's not good for the Houston Faders. Yeah, so the Astros.
It looks like he's officially starting.
Even worse. So it looks like the Astros are going to be pretty good here. Kikuchi, I have as like 5th or so. I just have other guys better. It's the best way I could describe this. So I don't know if I want to do that. But the Astros are certainly look like the best. Really close, at least, to the best play. I would say the best play. And they're going to be really, really popular. And it's a question of how much you want to play of a popular stack on a short slate when you have kind of 2 pitchers who you kind of want to play. So you tell me.
Well, it's hard to want to take Texas against the lefty after last night. I mean, I don't know if everybody was watching, but basically Alvarez lost his no-hitter with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth.
I saw that.
That's rough business there. But so. I kind of like I like Kikuchi a lot as a pitcher. And last night, if you want to use that as an example, I have a feeling. So here's one thing I think you could do that's different. I do agree that Houston is naturally the best team on the slate to play or whatever, but they're just going to be too popular where I wouldn't probably do it. I like Texas a little bit and taking shots against Kikuchi. That's maybe you don't have to fully stack it. You could just play Corey Seager. It's a home run every day. You can play Marcus Semien with this good splits matchup. They've got Josh Jung is back in the lineup batting cleanup at only 4K. I think there's a reasonable Texas taking a shot here after the. It's not exactly the thing that you do, but I like the team that just looked like they couldn't touch the ball against another lefty, and you bring Kikuchi in, who is coming off his career highest strikeouts right in the first game for Houston, I think. Yeah. I like the Texas idea to get different. Again, maybe not a full stack, but certainly as the pieces for secondary stack. I think they bounce back today.
So we're going to call this next one the Ted Bookstaver play. Ted's like my best friend growing up, and back in I want to say 1987, but maybe 1988, somewhere around there. The Baltimore Orioles had like a 20-game losing streak or something like that, like really, really bad. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but it was a lot. And after they finally broke their losing streak, Ted called me. He says, "Dude, you got to bet against Baltimore." I'm like, "Well, because what happens is they get the big relief after they finally get the win, and then they come back to lose the next game." So I bet it for him, and it was a huge bet for him. It was like $50 or something like that. And Baltimore lost. So this is going to be the Ted Bookstaver bet to bet Oakland against the White Sox to restart the new losing streak after the White Sox finally got the relief win yesterday. But aside from that, actually not even aside from that, I do have actually both pitchers in this game, like sort of interesting. Like Estes 7,200, kind of thematic to go back against the White Sox, and then even this Davis Martin. I mean, it's 5,800. He looks to be low owned. Also, I don't know. So I definitely like both of these guys. And then, I mean, again, they're not the top ones. We'll get to the top one in a minute, but they're certainly good, good enough. And then I have both these teams as good stacks too. Again, this could be like the Clown Fiesta game, like White Sox Oakland in front of 1,100 screaming fans. You never know what can happen here. So 5-game slate. I think this is actually a 4-pronged attack.
I agree. Anyway, I agree. I don't know what else to say. I think it is a 4-pronger. I think that, like, again, in the interest of getting a little different, and so I like Estes. I guess you definitely have to consider Martin. You're going to have some pretty decent ownership in this game, so I don't really know how different to get, except for to say that I think that you'll have significantly lower ownership on the White Sox. And I think maybe that's something to do along with the Texas. When I looked at this slate, that's what I came up with as something different to do would be those two teams.
And then the second part of the chalk pitching combination in the Yankees Angels game. I mean, Gill or Heel or however you pronounce it. This is obviously a really great play. He was going to be a great play yesterday. It got rained out. And he's cheap enough. Got a good matchup. Throws it hard. Terrible pitching slate in general, I guess. So I think Gill and Ryan is the natural combination. And then the Yankees, as I mentioned earlier, they're just I actually have them as far as like raw points is probably the best option, like even better than Houston. So I like that as well. So Yankees, Gill, nothing off the board. So we're gonna have to do some funny bits with our lineup construction. So that's what I like there. And to get to the quick summary, Ryan and Gill and Angels and Houston, that'll get you started on the chalk parade, but that's those are the best plays, I think.
I think that Houston. I like Houston a little bit better than I like the Yankees today, but I do think the Yankees, like, I would probably play them on a and they're have the highest run total, all that. I really think that if you want to get, I think you really do want to try and get different on these 5-gamers, and I would encourage people to just get exposure, whether or not however you do it, like maybe try to plug them in as a 3-man stack or as a 2-man or whatever. But just to get exposure to Chicago and Texas, I think those teams both have upside, whether you want to full stack them or not. And I think they'll be low enough owned to at least give you a chance, as they say.
I have a question. Is it? I know the way I'm framing it. I mean, you're going to agree with it just because I don't want to frame it the wrong way. But is Davis Daniel the worst play in the world here?
Probably not. Especially on this kind of a slate where we really don't it's like, okay, so we have to play Joey Estes. Okay, why? Because the White Sox are good. So maybe it isn't. I mean, one thing is he actually has I think he has enough upside. I think there's enough upside for him to take a shot. I just think it's probably too cute in like a high buy-in thing for me. I really would just stick with the Ryan Gill as the main ones with a little bit of the Davis Martin and then Joey Estes, but and get different with, as I mentioned, Texas or Chicago. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's probably, if you're playing the lottery, I think having 10% of them or something is probably not the worst idea in the world. For what it's worth, the people in his price range, his K prop is below most of theirs, but not much. I mean, he and Assad basically have the same strikeout expected today, and Assad is 7,100 and going to be popular. So just on that merit alone, it's probably worth taking a shot or two. I kind of like that idea, actually, Sheets.
So again, I'm gonna screw around with the with the builds and all that stuff as usual. And it doesn't look like a lot of rain issues. So nice, handy little 5-game slate. With any luck, it could be finished by the time the evening slate locks, and then hopefully it pays out so we can afford to play the late slate. So
I'm pretty sure you're okay with that. I think that's something that I would need to do at this moment. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's get it then. Let's get it, dude. Why don't you do your thing? While you put in one lineup and
there's nothing to play.
Put in one lineup and then like win like a third in the lotteries.
Yeah, no, but the problem is there's no lottery anymore.
Oh,
no, I'm sorry. There is. There's still seats.
Too late.
I'm reserving it right now. I might still be too late. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I'm building one lineup, and as I mentioned, I'm going to play the chalk pitching, and I am going to play the Texas with, I think, Arizona. It's probably.
Let me ask you a couple of other questions. So, and this is what I like to do. So you have Gil and who did I say, Ryan?
Yeah.
Who do you think is the better stack, Angels or Cubs?
Angels.
Okay. Because of the wind in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean it's not a great hitting day in Yankee Stadium for what it's worth. We got wind blowing in from left field, but it's still much better than Chicago when it's blowing in from center. And
I mean, both totals look similar. Yeah, I think I agree with you. The Cubs have like some good hitters. Actually, the Angels have a couple.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Angels. They've done some things.
And again, Arizona has the Cleveland bullpen issue, so everybody. But again, it's a 5-game slate. The winning score is going to, I doubt that the winning score gets much above 150 on the slate.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And because I couldn't do what I wanted to do initially, I'm going to end up with the A's, White Sox, and Texas as a 3-3-2.
Okay.
Again, I know it's not. It's a 5-gamer. I don't feel like there's any need you have to do something. So look, I'm playing one lineup in a $15 tournament, and I think that it's the only way I can afford what exactly what I want. So that's what I'm ending up with at the moment.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Seth Brown should be in the lineup again today, right? Yeah. All right. So what do you want? How do you want to do this? You want to get out of here and then record for this evening?
I don't know what I want to do. No, I don't. I got so much I have to get to.
Okay.
What do you want?
I got stuck a little bit, so I'm trying to decide whether or not, because I have a window and then I've got an appointment this afternoon, but it's a virtual appointment, but it's one I have to be at 1 my time. So I was deciding whether I could go back.
You want to do what? I don't know. I'm just not. We should probably be talking about this on the air. I'm literally not prepared for either the golf or the baseball right now, but I could be in like a half an hour.
Okay, whatever works for you, man. That works for me.
Well, why don't you tell me what you want to do, and then I'll join you.
Whatever works. I can make that like that. That works for me. Let's do that.
What is it? What is that? I forgot what we agreed
to. You said like a half hour. You could be ready for it.
For what?
For the baseball, then golf.
I can do either, but just tell me which one.
Let's do
both in a half an hour.
Let's just do the golf, and we'll just say baseball for live.
Sounds good. All right, we'll do golf at 1:00.
Okay, sounds.